Zone team. Want to spend some time today talking about how to handle kids with special needs. Um, this can always be a challenging situation, and sometimes it takes us out of our normal routine, and we need to have some special arrangements with parents and kids. So I want to talk about some of the things that I've done that have really helped make this work within the kids zone experience. Let me just start by saying the greatest gift that you can give a parent with a child with special needs is some time to go to church where they can fully trust that you're going to be able to take care of their kids, that the kids are going to be safe, and they're able to go and just be in God's presence. When you can give a parent that gift, it is an enormous thing for them. So important for them to be able to just catch their breath. And what I think is important to understand is many times parents who have kids with special needs, they feel like they can't go out anywhere. They feel like um, that they can't leave their child with somebody else, and they're exhausted. I've seen so many parents that are just so overwhelmed by things, and they don't think that there's any level of relief when you can give a parent like that some level of relief and appropriately care for their kids, and they can just go and sit in a worship experience. It's such a huge gift to them. So figuring out a way to do that and care for kids that have special needs is so big for those parents. So let's talk about some of the different things that you can do when you recognize that there is a child who has special needs. First thing that you want to do is you want to talk to the parents. Now, understand that they are so accustomed to fighting for their kids when they are working with the school system and they are working to get appropriate care for their kids. They are so used to having to just aggressively push to get the kind of care that their child needs. So when you first talk to them about their child's special needs, they may be very defensive and they may come out fighting. The reason for that is that's just what they're used to, and they love their kids so much that they want to do whatever they can to make sure that their kid gets appropriate care. Don't be caught off guard by that. Um, they're just used to doing that, and um, it takes a little bit of time for them to develop some trust with you. So you want to just listen a lot. You want to hear them out, and you want to do your best to understand what you can do to serve them as a family. The best question that I've found when I'm talking to a parent who has a child with special needs is, what is your child's trigger? Or in other words, what upsets him or her? What gets him or her worked up? And they may have a variety of different answers to that. So it could be big crowds, it could be loud music, it could be things that they didn't expect that are surprises. It could be so many different things. When you ask that question, it's you engaging with that parent and saying, "Hey, I want to understand your child, and I want to be able to help care for him the best that I can. Give me some insight." So that's just a powerful question to ask. Um, One of the best things that you can do after that conversation to help serve a child, and it's so simple, is just give that child a buddy. If you have enough staffing to designate one person to just sit with that child in the room, it does some great things. And many times that buddy can just be, it could be like a seventh grader that sits with a child and just helps them with transitions and things like that. So um, think about a child who's diagnosed somewhere in the spectrum. Many times they're not able to handle transitions. So when you say from the stage or from the microphone, hey guys, we're going to go to our small groups. I need all the girls to go that way and I need all the boys to go that way. And you want to find the right grade level. The leaders have signs. A child with autism is thinking, okay, wait, I have to go where? What's happening? And they just start processing things so quickly. And they may not fully grasp what's going on. But if they're sitting next to a buddy, they can see, okay, Johnny's a little bit confused here, so they can put their hand on their shoulder and say, hey, Johnny, it's time for us to go to our groups. We're going to go right over here. Come on, let's go with me. Put a hand on her shoulder and walk over there, and just guiding them through the process. Sometimes that's the simplest solution to make sure that a child is able to work through different things. And having that buddy, it allows you to see when a child is getting overstimulated, overwhelmed, or upset before it becomes a really difficult situation to handle. So you want to catch those things as early as possible, and that buddy can often do that. When you assign a buddy, sometimes kids that just have pretty minor challenges, that 13-year-old can be enough. But then there's some kids that need some more help, and if you put a 13-year-old with them, it will just be too much for them to handle. So you want to be aware of that, make good decisions there, but giving a child a buddy is a great solution to solve some of the minor problems. So once you figure out what a child's triggers are, you want to do your best to remove those triggers or remove the child from those things that get them upset. The easiest thing that I've found, and this helps probably 10 different kids every weekend when we use these headphones. Volume is often something that gets kids worked up, and it's too loud. Why do we have the volume so loud? Some people ask me that, and I always say, well, you know what? In order to engage the attention of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 kids, you need to have the volume of what you're presenting louder than the noise that they create themselves. If it's too soft, everything is going to distract them. So I like to keep the volume at a higher level because it focuses all the kids' attention in the direction of what you want them to see. If it's too soft, kids make noise. So if their noise is louder than what you're teaching, the kids are going to be looking at whoever's making the most noise. They're turning and focusing on different stuff. So you do need to have the volume at a level that's going to engage everybody's attention there. But these headphones sometimes are enough to just settle down a child that's overwhelmed by the volume. Just let them throw those on. We have different colors. We have camouflage ones. We have pink and purple and blue because some kids have different preferences on colors. But this is one of the easy ways to remove a trigger. Other triggers can be large crowds and flashing lights and different things. You want to just figure out each child. Every child's going to have different challenges, and you want to try to figure them out. And sometimes you have to remove a child from a situation. Here's an example that I had with a little girl probably 12, 13 years ago. She was upset every time we played the slow song in worship, not because of the volume. The volume didn't bother her. The loud music with fast songs and the flashing lights didn't bother her. It was the tone of a minor key when we played our slow songs, and it just got her upset. So we worked it out with her so that every week when we played our slow song, we would have one of her buddies just walk her out to the check-in area so she was out of the room, and it didn't upset her. So getting a child out of a situation is really, really important. The other thing that you can do with a child with special needs is develop a routine. So with this girl that I'm talking about, she did everything that everybody else did except for that slow song. And we had the routine of is right when the first fast song was ending and we were about to start the slow song, somebody would say, "Come on, Tori, let's go," and they would walk out to, and she was perfectly comfortable with that. Everything else was great, and there was something that she knew was going to happen. It was a routine. When you can get into routines with kids with special needs, many times it's very, very helpful for them. The other thing that you want to think about is you always want to make progress with kids. So if you think about kids that are overwhelmed by loud music and you take them out of the room for worship so that the loud music doesn't bother them, you also want to understand that you're taking them out of the experience of worship. So your goal is not to just take them out of the room all the time. Our goal is to teach kids about Jesus, and you want to help make progress for each one of the kids. Every child with special needs, if they can't handle parts of the service, you can have them come out for a season at a time, but figure out a way that they can still experience that. So if you start by taking a child out of the room for the loud music, maybe your next step is, okay, now you can come into the room and let's put headphones on and just help them engage. And you want to make sure that a child is not leading you. What do I mean by that? We have a room at one of our campuses that's designated for kids with special needs. So when we're doing these things that are overstimulating kids, they can step out of the room and go to this other room. We have some toys and some different activities. So I've seen this many times where a child goes in that room during a time where they genuinely need to be there, but then they get so connected to that room and they like what's going on in there. So when it's story time and it's not loud, when they should be in the main room with the rest of the kids, they still want to go to that room because they want to play with the toys. You want to make sure that you're focused on your goal, and that's teaching kids about Jesus and making progress, because you want them to be engaged with as much of the service as you possibly can get them to engage with, but also be sensitive to their special needs. So keep those things in mind. Hopefully that helps. And after you do everything, the more you can communicate with a parent, the more grateful that they are. And remember that they're going to be a little defensive to start, but if they start to see that you care about their child and you're taking the time to listen to them and take steps to appropriately care for their child, they will be your number one fan, because like I said, the greatest gift that you can give them is to provide good care for their kids while they can go and experience the worship service. All right, I will talk to you guys later.